thank you very much for joining us here today. And we are going to be speaking about the big fight at the MGM Grand on June the 15th. Tyson Fury against Tom Schwarz, the undefeated German. And Tyson joined by his trainer, Ben Davison. Bob Arum has made his way over from Las Vegas, and Top Rank promoting this alongside Frank Warren by my side. And I think perhaps first word to Frank about what's coming up on the 15th and about what it means to boxing and what it means to Tyson Fury, his first fight since that remarkable performance against Deontay Wilder.
Well, this is good. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. This is a fantastic opportunity for Tyson to go and cement his legacy in boxing, to show the appeal that he's got to the American audience and build a massive fan base there, not just as a boxer, but as a sportsman. And this is the first step of it. You know, Bob's his reputation as a promoter speaks for itself. He's been involved with some of the greatest fighters of all time, and the objective is to get Tyson in the same position. And I think with his personality, and more importantly, that for me, he's the best heavyweight out there. I think he can cement his legacy of being the best of his generation, and the world is his oyster. I mean, it's there to be done for him. And if anybody can do it, Tyson Fury can do it. And I'm sure he's going to take the US by storm.
It's going to be going on BT Box Office in Britain and ESPN over in the United States. Bob Arum is going to be taking Tyson over there and doing a big promotional hit in the United States. You were talking to me earlier on, Bob, about the sort of impact that this fella can have potentially from where he's already achieved now. And you mentioned him alongside the name of George Foreman.
Yeah, when last night when I was having dinner with Tyson, he asked me what my motivation was in doing this. And I told him that for me, and I've been doing this almost 55 years, the best thing as a promoter is to be with an athlete that can build him in and out of the ring to a superstar. Now, I started with Ali, and obviously you can't take credit for Ali. The credit belongs completely to Ali. But then later on, there was Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather, and George Foreman. And in talking with Tyson, I realized that we could do for Tyson what we did for George Foreman. George Foreman, remember, had this great career. He took 10 years off. He came back. He had been a minister. And he set the world on fire, the boxing world, the sports world, the public, not only with his ability, but more than that, with his charisma. And he became larger than life. And endorsements came one after another. And finally, with one endorsement, he hit the jackpot. And that was the Foreman Grill, which he sold his interest subsequently for almost $250 million. So that, to me, was a great success. And when I met with Tyson, I realized that he will mesmerize the U.S. market. As far as his boxing ability, I take completely at what Frank said. He has the ability. That'll take care of himself. A terrific trainer who'll be able to prepare him for the fights. But as a personality, he is going to take America by storm. Not only does he have behind him the biggest sports network in the world, ESPN, which has 5 channels in the U.S. alone, 24/7, just feeding the public, sporting events, talks about sport. He'll be a feature on ESPN, but ESPN is a subsidiary of Disney, and he will have the entire Disney organization behind him. That means that he will be booked on our late night shows on ABC with Jimmy Kimmel. Millions of people watch it because we are not satisfied to make an impact with Tyson just with the boxing fans or just with the sports fans. We want the public at large to know him, care for him, to listen to his story, and we think that when that happens, he will be the most famous athlete in the world, and that's our goal.
And this, the first step against Tom Schwarz, and are you confident that the MGM is going to be a sellout and that the public are going to turn up in numbers?
There is no question that it will be sold out. I think at this stage, a month or more than a month before, we have less than 2,000 tickets left to a sellout. So clearly, it'll be a sellout, and the brokers who bought some of the tickets will make a fortune in the aftermarket. But that's the way of the world. Everybody has had a chance to buy the tickets from the get-go. There were no scalping things set up. We don't have an arrangement with a secondary ticket market, but the brokers have come in, I know, and the secondary market is going to be really, really big. So while tickets are available, people should buy them.
Frank, we've listened to Bob talking about how Tyson can be projected to the American audience and just how big he can potentially become. Just reiterate for the guys here today, just how you've enjoyed working with Tyson over the last year or more since he's come back.
Well, it's been a great ride. It's been great fun, and more importantly, it's been a privilege. You know, when you look at where he was a year ago, look at the condition he's in now. He's an athlete. That's how he looks. You look a year ago, how big he was, the weight he's had to lose.
I'm smoking.
And smoking. 10 stone, you know, he's lost 140 pounds. That's a lot of weight he's got rid of. But you can see mentally he's there mentally focused to do all these things. It's not letting himself blow up in between fights, which I think Ben's got to take a lot of credit for. But it's been brilliant. You know, he's gone from being a guy who came back into the boxing, made his return less than a year ago, making his return to be, in my opinion, being the most popular heavyweight in Britain. And I know people say Anthony Joshua is, but I think he absolutely took that over after the fight with Wilder. When people see what he did, how he stepped up to the plate after 2 comeback fights involving 2 pretty ordinary heavyweights, to jump straight back in there and show what he's got, and I thought and absolutely being robbed in that fight. That tells you what he is. So it's been a fantastic journey, and if he can be as popular in America as he is here, then it's going to be something extra.
Has it surprised you? I mean, Bob talks about Muhammad Ali, who was known when he came back, and when he, after he lost to Joe Frazier first time out in New York, he was going around as the people's champion. Can you see parallels with Tyson, that he has become, if you like, the people's champion? Well,
he is the people's champion. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you only got to look at the people he's inspired since he's come back. You know, he's...
Use the word, Frank, linear
champion. But what I'm saying is how he's inspired people who've been down, who've had the problems, terrible problems, been to the depths and the dark despair that Tyson's been through, but he's come back through that, and people they associate with that. You know, everybody has their ups and downs in life, and people associate with that. They've seen where Tyson's been, and they've seen how he's pulled his boots up and got back into it, and that says a lot about the man. And I think the American public are going to take to him even more. You know, that fight against Wilder, there's no doubt about it in the States. He was, at the end of the day, was the favourite. Most of the arena were cheering him. He was getting the biggest cheers in the other guy's backyard. And as I say, for him now to go to the States, it's going to be another chapter in his life. And he's not just going to be and proved that he's the best heavyweight of his generation. He's going to become one of the biggest sportsmen in the world, no doubt about that.
Well, let's speak to Tyson and to Ben, who's training him for the fight over in Las Vegas. Tyson, how much are you looking forward to getting back to America and getting to Las Vegas?
I'm really looking forward to going to Las Vegas. LA was one thing, but all the big fights happen in Las Vegas. I remember waiting up to watch Ricky Hatton and Mayweather. That was at the MGM. A lot of iconic fights have been there. So for me to put my name down on that list as well, that's another tick off the old box list. It's been a long time coming. I've never ever been to Las Vegas, ever. I've refrained myself from going there over the years, purely for the fact that I made a promise to myself when I was young that I wouldn't go to Vegas unless I fought there. And 30 years later, I'm finally getting the opportunity to fight there on the biggest platform in the world. We've heard what Bob Arum said, we've heard what Frank Warren said. It's been an amazing comeback story. It's been an amazing journey in my second career. I came back less than a year ago. I've had 3 fights back now. This has been my 4th defence of the lineal championship of the world, and something I'm really, really enjoying as an athlete and as a person and as a boxer. I really love my job at the minute, more than I've ever done ever before. I used to think boxing was a chore, just a job I had to go to, and I would train hard for a fight and then put a ton of weight back on afterwards. But now I really enjoy what I do, and I keep fit when I'm not boxing. When I'm not supposed to be in training camp, I almost live my life as a routine training camp now, and that's the way I like to live. So go to America, Las Vegas. I've been in training camp for 8 weeks now. By the time I get to the fight, 4 weeks here, 4 weeks there. It's going to be really hot over there. Looking forward to a great night of boxing. I'm sure the Gypsy King fans are all looking forward to going to invade Las Vegas. It's going to be an epic, memorable night, especially for me and my family, my team and all my fans. Everybody I speak to that I know is going, and even people I don't know, they're going as well. It's going to be an epic night, Frank.
It is.
We'll be having a few drinks after the fight, no doubt.
Certainly will be.
Champagne.
Champagne, the best. And also...
And you, Bob?
Forget champagne. Last time we had a major Brit fighter over was Ricky Hatton. So Hatton brought about thousands of fans over. So I asked my friends at the casino, how's it doing? Well, not too much gambling, not too much drinking at the bar, except for beer. We've had 5 runs of beer trucks coming in, replacing the beer. We have never seen so much beer consumed since the hotel was built.
That's the British. We do love our beer.
We certainly do.
I'm sure we'll drink it dry, Frank, won't we? Get a win over in Vegas.
We're going to get the win, drink it dry, and for those who can't make it, you can watch it on BT.
Tyson, when you hear Bob talk about some of the great names he's been associated with, including some of the biggest names in heavyweight boxing history, how excited are you to be following in that line?
I'm very excited. I knew this was a big move, but you don't really realise how big until it starts mentioning names like Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, 2 of the greats of the heavyweight boxing division. And they did a great job with them, so I'm sure that they're going to do a great job with me. One thing with me is I've not got a talking problem, as we all know. I can talk, and I like to talk. It's probably my favourite thing to do. So to introduce me to the American people won't be that hard. But, it's all about boxing at the end of the day. I can have the best personality and the best interaction with the general person on the street, but without performing in the ring, it's all no good. So I can't take my eye off the ball too much. And I've got to really train hard and treat all these fights for what they are, world title fights.
Well, let's talk about the training. And Ben, you've been with him right the way to where he is now in the comeback. And as Frank was saying, you look at Tyson, you only need to look at him and you see that he's in great shape. How much are you enjoying working with him with the new mindset?
Yeah, Tyson's very easy to work with, and he's an elite level boxer. He's shown that at elite level a few times. And when you enjoy what you do, you'll be good at it. And obviously he's very good at it. And because he's enjoying it and with a great team around him, it's inspiring for him, and he knows that he's inspiring thousands and millions of people around the world, and that's even more inspiration for him, So he's he's very motivated and he enjoys the training.
To what extent is he inspiring you, or is it you inspiring him? I mean, it's a partnership, obviously, but how does it work?
Yeah, well, obviously Billy Joe Saunders is in there as well, and if one's having a low day and the other's having a good day, everybody motivates each other in the gym, and that's what a team is about.
You must have taken immense pride out of the journey through to LA and that fight against Deontay Wilder and what he achieved in there.
Yeah, of course, and obviously Tyson gets a lot of credit and I get a lot of credit, but there's more than just me and him behind it. Do you know what I mean? Tyson has a full team. You've got his family, his wife, his kids, his brothers, his family, his dad, and other members of the team as well. So, you know, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm very proud and I did this and I did that, but there's many, many people that played a part in Tyson's comeback, and what he's done physically and what people have seen, he's probably only about 10% of what he's really achieved, and what goes on in your own head and what he's battled through there with mental illness. People will never ever see the true transformation that he's achieved there.
So you believe the best is still to come?
Oh, for sure. Look, after losing 10 stone in weight, and people saw what he managed to do then, so they're definitely in for a fantastic ride on what's coming up.
Tell us about this fella, about Tom Schwarz, and about the sort of fight that he's going to bring to Tyson. You'll obviously have studied him. Tell us what we can anticipate.
Well, he's a little bit of an unknown quantity because he's never found his level. He's unbeaten, so we don't know what he can do. You know, like we've said many times before, when Tyson went to box Klitschko, nobody thought that Tyson would do what he done there. So you can never underestimate anybody, especially an unbeaten fighter, especially in the heavyweight division.
Have you had a chance to see anything much of him, Tyson?
Yes, I've seen all of his fights, Tom. I study heavyweight boxing, and Tom's no exception. He's a tall guy, 6'5.5", 6'6", around about 18 stone. He's got good footwork for a big man. He throws good combinations, punches in bunches. He's hungry and he's ambitious, and I'm sure he's going to come for a war. I hear he's training in the mountains in Germany. He's not ill preparing for this fight. He's not taking it for granted. He's not turning up for a paycheck. He's turning up to take the lineal championship of the world. But it's a good job that I'm in that frame of mind as well. I'm training as hard as I can. I'm doing everything correct. I'm eating right, sleeping right, drinking right. Everything's going correct. The training camp's been fantastic so far. I'm injury free, which is the best thing that anyone could ever hope for in boxing. And I anticipate a good fight, you know. Tom, like Ben said, Tom's unbeaten, he's hungry, and it's in Las Vegas, and the lineal championship is on the line. You know, he's 24-0, which I was when I beat Vladimir. I don't have to talk up Tom Schwarz. The guy's unbeaten, he's ranked in front of me in the WBO. There's nothing that I need to say about him to sell to you. He will sell himself to you on the night. The fight is on. It's going to be an epic fight. Someone's getting knocked out. We're practicing in the gym, sitting in the pocket and letting bombs go. You know, this is Las Vegas, it's showtime. So I am looking to put on an explosive performance in the United States. So it's either him or me. And isn't that what we want to see?
Absolutely.
Action.
Absolutely.
So it's going down June 15th. Be there, be square, watch it on TV.
And you want
Either way, it's going to be exciting.
And you want your fans to be there, don't you? You know what I mean? A message
I know
to the
for a
guys
fact
watching
that thousands and thousands of people are travelling to Las Vegas. And you know how that makes me feel? It makes me very emotional that thousands of people are turning up to watch me fight, you know, to have a good time. And it gives people an excuse, really, to go to Las Vegas, the ones who want to go there but don't really have a reason to go. Here's your reason to go. And by the way, I am partying with the fans afterwards, as I always do. And it's going to be a great night of boxing. Cannot wait.
A question for Bob and to Frank. This is the first step in a new promotional agreement and the first move onwards for Tyson. If you could look ahead over the next year or so, both of you, where would you like to see Tyson at a year from now?
Well, a year from now, I would say that he will be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And not only that, when people link who are the greatest sports persons in the world, they do that. You know, who are the most famous? He will be, if not first, within the first three, because he will be that well known, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, who can relate to the people. who is not defensive about everything, who is not somebody who is complaining about everything. He is a man of the people who will relate to the people, and that's why he will have, in 1 year's time, fame that everybody will recognize.
Frank, can it happen? Bob talks about being the undisputed heavyweight champion because of the complicated politics of world boxing. Can that happen?
Well, first of all, he's the lineal champion, and I see him just adding the unified champion. He is what he is. He's undefeated, and the best heavyweight out there. Politics. Why should politics stand in their way? There's lots of big fights that have happened in the States in the past where they've been shown on by two broadcasters simultaneously. So that can happen in the States, the same as it can happen here. Nothing should stand in the way of delivering to the fans what they want. The fans want to see who's the best heavyweight out there. We've all got our opinions, and my opinion is very strong on the matter. They want to see it. So it's up to us and everybody in boxing to ensure that happens for the fans, and also for, in our case, for Tyson, because Tyson is the best.
Tyson, what would it mean for you a year from now if you were able to sit here, talk to these guys and talk to everybody out there watching now and be able to say, yeah, I am the undisputed champion?
Who said he'd want to talk to you at that point?
I'd just like to clear something up here, John. Let's rewind a few years. Go back to November 28th, 2015. Right. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that Vladimir Klitschko was the undisputed king of the heavyweight division. Correct? Is everyone in agreement? And when I kicked his ass on that night, I became the best fighter in the heavyweight division. Number uno, number one. Barring nobody, there was no number 2, 3 or 4. Vladimir was known as the undisputed heavyweight king because he couldn't fight his own brother. So when I beat him, I became that. And you know what? It didn't even change me one bit. Not one bit. So I'll answer that question. When that does happen next year, because it will, because they can't beat me, I'll still be the same person as I am today. Because real people don't change. We just stay the same. Because I'm happy in this skin. This is me. So there's the answer to the question. Bit dramatic, but whatever.
No, it's a good answer. And it probably answers Bob's
So there we go. I've already been the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. You've already had that. Everyone's seen it. And for those who haven't seen it, you can go and watch it again. And I'll be back there very shortly. I'm already the lineal heavyweight champion, going back to the days of John L. Sullivan and Jem Mace, right up to today. So I have something that no other heavyweight in the world possesses, and that's the lineal championship of the world. They have a few belts, they have a belt here and there. I've won more belts than all of them put together, and that's facts, and if no one believes it, they can go and check it out. You can't lie about things like this, Frank, because it's documented history. I own more belts than any heavyweight out there in my division currently active today. I've had every belt there is to win, including all the Ring Magazine awards, the Ring Magazine Comeback of the Year, Fighter of the Year, Upset of the Year, Round of the Year. Is there any more things, Frank?
Fighter of the Year.
Fighter of the Year. There we go. And nobody else has had that, only me.
We all know the big names out there who potentially would be standing in your way to getting to that point. Which fight actually to you want the most? Is it Joshua? Is it Wilder again? Which is the one which really stands out?
Do you know, they're both great fights. They'll both be good fights for the fans. But, you know, either or really doesn't matter to me. I already beat Deontay Wilder in his own country. Didn't get the decision, but we're not going to cry about that. So, you know, whoever, doesn't really matter. However, whenever, I said I'll fight them 7 days a week, twice on a Sunday. It's really unimportant to me because they're only men with boxing gloves on, and I'll beat both of them time and time again. If we fought 10 times, I'd win 10 times out of 10. So all we need to do is stop messing around and get the fights on.
And Frank and Bob, you're confident that can happen?
It can't happen. We've got to make it happen.
Of course.
And why wouldn't it happen? It's first of all,
the public is not without power.
Right.
The public can insist on a fight happening. You're the the fans. You're the ultimate deciders. No promoter, no fighter is as powerful as the fans.
We will be having an opportunity to do one-on-one interviews, and of course doing all the photographs, whatever you wish. But before then, can we open it up to questions from the floor to anybody who's sitting here now? Fire away. Anybody, please, don't be shy.
Anybody?
Don't rush.
No minerals?
Yes.
There were strange reports going around that you were going to retire in the 3 fights. Tell us it's not true, please.
This is not true. I never mentioned the word retirement. I said 3 more fights and I'll be gone, meaning I'll be on holiday somewhere, preferably in Disneyland. Now, Bob talks about it. I've been
Free
assured of getting
passes for
free
the whole
tickets.
family.
Yeah! Cannot wait. Any more, surely. I've made all this way in journey.
So,
Yes, this is all the iconic heavyweight champions of history. Great suit or not? Courtesy of Claudio Lulu over there. Anybody wants any, you can go and see him. Yeah, great suit.
It won't fit you either. You can't have it.
Any more questions?
any more for any more? Nope. Okay, well, time for photographs and one-on-ones. Thank you very much. And the guys are here and they will make themselves available to you for whatever's required. And remember, the fight, when it happens, will be watched in the United States on ESPN.